Loki, or Loki Laufeyson. Ooh. First appearance in Venus number 6, May 1949. So while this is his first appearance in a Marvel comic, that first appearance wasn't the Loki we would come to know. But that is still his first appearance.
Okay.
Born to Farbati and Laufey, the queen and king of the frost giants of Jotunheim, he was seen as an embarrassment due to how small he was at birth. And this left him separated and hidden away from the other giants. And his father just ridiculed him and verbally abused him and probably physically abused him. Now, this is where the article was a little bit confusing, so I've tried to piece it together as best I can. But it seems like a future version of Loki at some point went back in time and taught his younger self how to manipulate people.
Okay.
So what Loki then did is during a battle, in a war between the Frost Giants and then Asgardians, Loki goaded his father into attacking Odin. Odin, being such a fearsome warrior, defeated Laufey. And Loki then faked grief and rage, and this caused Odin to take pity and feel sorry for Loki, thus adopting him. At which point, future Loki would then jump back in to beat the fuck out of his father for the years of abuse. And this is where Loki would then become Loki Odinson, as he would be known. And he would meet his adopted brother Thor. And throughout their childhood and adolescences, Loki and Thor didn't really see eye to eye. It was very much a kind of one-sided rivalry because Thor didn't view Loki as a rival because he always won. And it's a little bit tricky because I feel like with how Marvel portrayed it, I actually do, for the most part, like this portrayal of what would a sibling rivalry look like if they were basically immortal gods.
Yeah.
And for the most part, that is what it looks like.
Agreed.
But Loki did resent Thor in a very serious way. He felt, once again, like an outcast because the people of Asgard loved Thor because he was what they valued in Asgard. His strength, his tenacity, how brave he was in battle are all things that the Asgardians were proud to celebrate and they looked for in their leaders. Whereas Loki's skills lied more with witchcraft and wizardry and manipulation, stuff that was less impressive to Asgardians. In a different world, Loki is adopted by Samuel L. Jackson, or Nick Fury rather, and he becomes a great spy. Do you know what I mean? And there's probably a what if story there. What if Loki was adopted by Nicholas Fury? Another area of great contention between Thor and Loki, again unbeknownst to Thor, was Lady Sif. Lady Sif is, of course, a major love interest for Thor. But when they were younger, Loki also had a crush on Lady Sif. And when the attention was not reciprocated and he could tell that she was far more interested in Thor, he was enraged. And like the little psychopath he is, he decided to sneak into her room while she slept and cut off her hair. When confronted by Thor, he claimed it was just a prank. Just a prank, bruh.
Just a prank, bro.
Just a prank, bruh. At which point he offered to visit the dwarves of Niflheim to make her new hair. Coming. And also some gifts for his family to try and buy their favour. Of course, the dwarves of Niflheim were the dwarves who made Mjolnir and a lot of other powerful items. Over the years, Loki has been a thorn in the side of Thor for sure. The Avengers. He's had many other encounters with many heroes. I feel like a lot of his more iconic encounters have come from the Ultimates universe, which
Okay.
is where I believe he turned Peter Parker into Spider-Ham. And we had Throg. I believe that was the Ultimates universe.
Oh, frog.
A big thing that I mean people are a bit more aware of now, but didn't necessarily know up until the last couple of years, is that Loki is gender fluid.
Mm.
In
Yes.
his god status, he has been depicted as a man, a woman, everything in between. He's appeared as animals, which is very interesting. I think originally they kind of were just like, well, he's a god of mischief. He's gonna float around and make
Yeah.
himself blend in a bit better and blah blah blah. But when you actually get to it, like it's the perfect opportunity for someone, because in reality you can hide in basically every situation without having to fully change what you look like. There's a little bit of like, no, Loki's just like, as an outcast, he's very desperate to fit in.
Yeah.
So him bending into what is ever needed to fit in, be that an animal to blend in with animals, a woman to blend in with women, a man to blend in with men, he's like, I will be
Do it.
that. And that is kind of this whole idea of he's fluid. Like there's no other way to put it.
Yeah.
Loki's a really interesting character. I definitely think there are some parts about his comic version I prefer. I think his powers are a bit more consistent in the MCU and therefore
Mm.
less confusing. And I think his character arc has been better in the MCU. But I also think he's a very, very good returning, decently high level villain for
Yeah.
numerous characters in the comics. And it would have been nice if maybe he would have got a little bit more time as a villain in Marvel,
Yeah.
instead of wherever we're at now. But it was always going to be difficult to keep Tom Hiddleston as someone you're rooting against for a long time. But that is Loki. We'll be seeing more of him. I mean, right
Next
about
few
now.
weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. And it'll be curious to see where he goes next in his story. And where else we see him throughout time, I guess. Talking of father problems, Ahsoka. I'm very smooth with it. What can I say?